Hubert Robert, The Tomb of Virgil at Posillipo, near Naples, 1784. Photo, Jack Ramsdale. Cultural figures and groups are up in arms after La Salle University announced last week that it planned to sell 46 artworks from its museum's collection in order to offset the cost of educational programming. Christie's has estimated that the school can rake in between $4.8 million and $7.3 million from the auctioning off of works by Edgar Degas, Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres, Henri Matisse, Dorothea Tanning, and Jacopo Tintoretto, among others. I feel as though the place has been raped, Caroline P. Wister, a longtime curator of the museum, who retired about a decade ago, told the Philadelphia Inquirer. They're selling all of the very best things, a Degas drawing, a Vuillard. This is major. I feel like they've killed the museum. In response to the controversial move, the American Alliance of Museums Arm and the Association of Art Museum Directors AAMD issued the following joint statement. College and university art museums have a long and rich history of collecting, curating, and educating in a financially and ethically responsible manner on par with the world's most prestigious institutions. A different governance structure does not exempt a university museum from acting ethically, nor permit them to ignore issues of public trust and use collections as disposable financial assets. This is a fundamental ethical principle of the museum field, one which all institutions are obligated to respect. In no event shall funds from deaccessioned works be used for anything other than support for a museum's collections. More institutions added that they are in conversation with the university about the sale and said, "We remain hopeful that the university leadership will reconsider their decision." Timothy Rubb, head of the Philadelphia Museum of Art and a former president of the Association of Art Museum Directors, also rebuked La Salle's decision to sell its works. Is a gain of $4.80 to $7.3 million in operating funds really a game-changer for the university, or will this simply leave its museum, which is acknowledged as being an enormously valuable resource for faculty and students, weaken aid? According to the school, the sale of the works, which is expected to take place across a series of auctions starting in March and continuing through June, is part of a new strategic 5-year plan that has already been approved by its board of trustees. The school has been working towards finding stable financial footing since it first reported that it had a $12 million deficit and an 18% drop in enrollment in 2015. Other institutions selling artworks from their collections have also recently come under fire, as in the case of the Berkshire Museum in Massachusetts. Les Stephen Riley. Photo, Gary Barragan. Caitlin Bowling of Insider Louisville reports that Stephen Riley has been appointed the director of the Speed Art Museum. Riley has been the institution's interim director since March 2017 after the departure of Ghislaine Dumires, who left his directorship to take care of his sick father. Stephen stepped in graciously to serve the Speed at a time of need, said Martha Slaughter, chair of the Speed Art Museum Board of Trustees in a statement. When he quickly brought it to life with a new strategic plan, careful financial planning, some key hires, and support for our incredible staff, the trustees quickly sought a way to turn his tenure into something more permanent. 18 months into life in our new building, the Speed has developed its sense of place and purpose. When I got here, I found 125 colleagues who were ready to take the Speed to the next level, as proven in our remarkable results over the last 8 months, said Riley. I am very excited to continue working with those colleagues and with our two boards to redefine what a great museum can mean for its city and state. Lightspool. Courtesy, Realities, United. The launch of a public art installation conceived by the Berlin-based design studio Realities, United has been cancelled after officials raised concerns that the piece would be used to communicate hate speech, Ainsley Cruikshank of the Toronto Star reports. The piece was commissioned for the new Pioneer Village subway station and has been in the works since 2009. Senior members of the city's Toronto Transit Commission feared that Lightspool, a participatory artwork that would allow commuters to type messages on interfaces located on the platform in order to project them on large displays, would be abused. This isn't about limiting free speech but making sure people feel safe on the TTC, transit spokesman Brad Ross told CTV News. If somebody looks up and sees a racial slur that they think may be targeted at them, then we have failed them. Rather than abandon the $400,000 project, the TTC proposed using a list of safe words that users could choose from. However, for Jan and Tim Edler, the owners of Realities, United and the brothers who spearheaded the controversial work, said this solution would undermine the purpose of the piece. Calling the safe list completely crazy, Tim Elder said that the idea is more like North Korea than Canada. More elders are now working with the TTC to find a way to move forward with the opening of the work. Jan Edler said that the piece is an experiment of the freedom of speech of the individual versus the influence of the group. You can not only enter text anonymously, but you can also override and erase text anonymously. The censoring of inappropriate content, if there is any, is not done through an automated system, but is being organized, or is supposed to be organized, by the group of people in the station. Les Elena Rodriguez. Photo: Pamela Fulcher. The Rockport Center for the Arts in Rockport, Texas has recently named Elena Rodriguez the organization's new curator of exhibitions. Rodriguez first joined the arts organization in 2013 as an administrative and special events manager. She also served as the Associate Director of Special Events and Membership from 2015 to 2016, and most recently, as Director of Special Events and Membership and as Event Director for its annual Rockport Film Festival. Eleanor's creative contributions, marketing ideas, and public relations strategies have had a profound effect in the growth of the Rockport Film Festival. Luis Perrin, the Rockport Center for the ARTS's Executive Director, told Glasssteir. Her personal and professional appreciation for the art form of cinema, and the power in storytelling, led her to kick off one of the most successful film festivals on record in November. Just 10 weeks after Hurricane Harvey, 1,000 people attended. The center had sustained heavy damages after the Category 4 hurricane struck the coastal city in August. The building's porch and roof were destroyed in the storm, and as a result it lost several original artworks. It has since been fundraising to get back up and running and has received a $15,000 grant from the Texas Commission on the Arts in order to rebuild. More. If art excites me most about working at the Art Center is the chance to support the local art community by both exhibiting the work of local artists and bringing in work from across the country, Rodriguez said. This is a challenging time for the art community in Rockport, but I have no doubt that we will not only persevere, but come back stronger than ever. Les Eugene V. Thor. Photo: Harry Benson. Eugene V. Thor, a collector of European Old Masters such as Andrea Mantegna and Francisco Goya, who also co-authored a major catalogue raisin of Jackson Pollock's work, died on January 3 at his home in Cherry Valley, New York, writes Holland Cotter of the New York Times. He was 90 years old. Thor was born in the Washington Heights neighborhood of Manhattan to a schoolteacher and heating contractor, his mother and father, respectively. He studied at St. John's College in Annapolis, Maryland, and took graduate classes at Columbia University in New York with art historians Meir Shapiro and Millard Mice. He became an art dealer, selling posters by Toulouse-Lautrec, prints by the Nabus, and some American Indian works. His gallery, which was located on West 44th Street in Manhattan, over the Oak Room of the Algonquin Hotel, hosted Joan Mitchell's first solo exhibition. He eventually moved his gallery to Madison Avenue in 1954. That year he married his gallery assistant, Claire Eddy, who suggested to him to not sell objects that he was especially fond of. This bit of advice began his foray into collecting. He sharpened his tastes being mentored by dealers including Leo Castelli, Sidney Janis, Janos Schultz, and Pierre Matisse. Down the road, Thor developed relationships with important museums and collectors, such as Norton Simon, Paul Mellon, the Art Institute of Chicago, and the Cleveland Museum of Art. In 1981, Thor and his wife established a charitable trust with the funds from the sale of one Van Gogh painting. The Eugene V. and Claire E. Thor Charitable Trust supports the arts, animal rights, and the environment. In 1987, the Thors moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where they acquired more than 1,000 pieces by Native Americans. The collection was gifted to the Fenimore Art Museum in Cooperstown, New York, close to their home in Cherry Valley. More. New York's Morgan Library and Museum has been receiving works in small allocations from the Thors since 1975, when the Morgan decided to expand its acquisition guidelines to include works made in the 19th century. Drawn to Greatness, Master Drawings from the Thor Collection, an exhibition at the Morgan that opened on September 29, 2017 and closed on January 7, 2018, marked the fulfillment of the Thor's gift to the institution. Les Christopher Mahoney. Photo: Jeffrey Berliner for the Penumbra Foundation. Phillips Auction House announced that Christopher Mahoney has been appointed its Senior International Specialist for Photographs. Based in New York, Mahoney began his post earlier this month. Mahoney began his career in the photographs department at Swan Galleries in the early 1990s. He then joined Sotheby's in 1995 and served as head of the photographs department from 2014 to 2016. After his departure, he worked as a private consultant, during which time he assisted with Phillips' auctions of the Odyssey of Collecting, photographs from Joy of Giving Something Foundation, 1840 to 2007 in 2017. He received his BFA in photography from New York University and is an active photographer. On the heels of Phillips' strong 2017 performance, we are eager to continue building momentum in the photographs market, Vanessa Hallett, the worldwide head of photographs and deputy chairman, Americas said. Chris is one of the foremost experts on the evaluation and sale of photographs spanning the 19th through 20th centuries, and he was instrumental in the success of our Joy of Giving Something auctions last year. As a permanent member of our team, he will facilitate the growth of the department even further as we prepare for our first sales of the new year. Lord. Photo, Chris Luhars. More than 100 cultural figures have signed an open letter in support of Lord, the New Zealand pop star, after she was accused of bigotry following the cancellation of a concert scheduled to take place in Tel Aviv this June. According to the Art newspaper, artists such as Shepard Fairey, John Keane, Peter Kennard, and Emily Young are standing up for the singer-writer after the platform This World, the Values Network, run by Shmuley Boteach, an American Orthodox Jewish rabbi, author, and TV host, took out a page ad in the Washington Post to criticize Lord for joining a global anti-Semitic boycott of Israel. The ad shows a photo of the Ian superimposed over an image of men running through rubble with the tagline, Lord and New Zealand ignore Syria to attack Israel. Rallying to Lord's defense, the open letter claims that Boteach has nothing to teach artists about human rights and cites a letter he wrote to thank Donald Trump for recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital last month. We deplore the bullying tactics being used to defend injustice against Palestinians and to suppress an artist's freedom of conscience, the letter reads. Lord announced on December 24 she would no longer perform in Israel on June 5, after she faced backlash from activists campaigning for Palestinian rights. Dmitry Rybolovlev. Photo, Frank Nataf. On December 22, a New York court filed an order stating that Russian billionaire Dmitry Rybolovlev is allowed to use confidential documents from the auction house Sotheby's for an imminent lawsuit in the United Kingdom and extant legal proceedings in Switzerland, writes Annie Shaw of the Art newspaper. The action may allow for Rybolovlev to put forward a fresh case in London's High Court against Swiss art dealer Yves Bouvier. The billionaire is accusing the dealer of fleecing him out of $1 billion for the 2013 purchase of Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi, circa 1500, which was bought in November 2017 by a Saudi prince through Christie's for $450 million, making it the most expensive artwork ever sold, in addition to the acquirement of 38 other artworks. The UK lawsuit is also threatening to involve Sotheby's and its vice chairman of private sales worldwide, Samuel Vallet, whom Rybolovlev claims was part of Bouvier's scheme. David Michael Edwards, Rybolovlev's lawyer, alleges the documents contain evidence that Sotheby's and Vallet knew Bouvier was working on behalf of a client buying artworks, and that Sotheby's helped Bouvier by providing paperwork that advised Rybolovlev to acquire work at grossly inflated prices. Sotheby's, however, says the claims are baseless, and that Rybolovlev is using Sotheby's' location in England as an excuse to continue his worldwide dispute with Mr. Bouvier in the English courts. Bouvier and the auction house, in order to stop the UK legal proceedings, filed a joint conciliation proceeding in Geneva, which declares that they are not responsible for any wrongdoing. In the filing, Sotheby's said that it was not aware of the resale prices being charged to Rybolovlev's trusts by Bouvier, and that it did not benefit from any resales. Bouvier also claims that he was never the billionaire's broker, as Rybolovlev has suggested, and says that he was only charging him market prices. Bouvier's New York lawyer, Dan Levy, said that under the Lugano Convention, the Geneva filing will sooner or later be dismissed, even if litigation is taken into the UK. David Zwinner. Photo, Wikipedia. As dealer David Zwinner celebrates the 25th year since he established his first gallery in Soho, he is once again planning to expand. The gallerist told Robin Pogrebin of the New York Times that he is opening a fourth New York space. Located on a corner lot at 540 West 21st Street, the new five-story $50 million gallery will be designed by Italian architect Renzo Piano, whose other buildings include the Whitney Museum of American Art and the Menil Collection in Houston. After the new gallery opens in 2020, Zwinner plans to move the core of his operations there, and he may decide to close his West 19th Street location, which he is only renting. The project will be Piano's first commercial gallery. While it is still early in the design process, Piano told Pogrebin that he will aim to create a visual psychological connection between the building and the street. Commenting on the expansion, Zwinner said, "Artists want you to stay small, they hate when stuff changes. How do you keep it intimate while being able to compete in the increasingly competitive art market?" He also added, "On the other hand, if you don't move, some artists will feel you're not doing enough for their careers. They want to have intimacy, but they also want to have the reach." More later this month, Zwinner will also open his first gallery in Asia. Meanwhile, this Saturday, the gallery will present a special exhibition showcasing the work of artists that have shaped the gallery's program since its founding in 1993 in both of his Chelsea locations. Among the artists featured are Marlene Dumas, Onkawara, Chris Afili, Richard Serra, and Lisa Yuskavage. Less